I am heading to a flip because our contractor just told us it got tagged and there's graffiti on the garage, so we're coming here to see how bad it is, what it looks like, and if there are any other issues. And there you go, Night Wolf. No matter which night you're talking about, I don't think they spelled that quite right. Hopefully that was on purpose, but you never know. Now we're also wondering if anything else happened, and it did. There was stuff all over the street and on our property, and our contractor said when he went back there, there was some people hanging out there. They saw him, left, and a bunch of their stuff fell off their cart or stroller or whatever they had, carrying all their things. So I drove around a little bit to see if I could find them. I did not, but we had more contact with them when I went back to the property that we'll show you here soon. We also found out after talking to our contractor that they had broken into the garage as well. They hadn't just tagged it and left some stuff back there. They broke into it, but we got some sweet fishing poles out of it. So those were in the garage. The contractor said there was some other stuff, some bags and different things in there too, but he had left for a little bit, was going to come back, and when he came back, everything was gone except the fishing poles. But that's still going to be part of the story here later on. So here's what the flip looks like. We're making progress. We still need a kitchen, some other stuff, but it's getting closer to being done. And there's the garage, which we had to kind of shore up a little bit so it didn't fall down. It was in rough shape. And we did just paint the exterior of that garage too, which is awesome that they put graffiti on it. But we're going to try something out as well. We're in Greeley, Colorado, and they have a graffiti program where if there is graffiti, you can report it, and they've got a truck that comes around and removes it. Now, I want to see how good of a job they do. We could easily paint over it. We have the paint still. But I want to see how the graffiti removal process works, because I feel like I've seen some places where they just paint over it and it's not the same color paint at all. But there's also a possibility they pressure wash it and do a good job. So it'll be interesting to see how that all happens, and we'll wait a few days to see if they do it and what it looks like afterwards. So apparently for the garage, they didn't damage anything. I guess we didn't have one of the doors completely secure. So one door was secure, one wasn't. And I think they might have broken that picket down too. I want to look in a previous video to see, because to open that gate, you need to reach from the inside. And I do not remember that picket being broken. Maybe it was, but I want to look in an old video and see if that picket was up there or not. And inside, like I said, it looks fine. Nothing too crazy in here. We need to get some new garage doors still. We did shore up the structure a little bit. Like I said, it was pretty rough. They'd cut a bunch of trusses and done some crazy stuff to put in the garage door openers the previous owners had. And so we tried to fix a lot of those issues. And I guess right back there in that room is where all their stuff was. And my contractor had shut that door, and it does not have a door handle. So it did latch, and I didn't get it open while I was there. But he said all the stuff was gone, except for the fishing poles. He took those out, and then hopefully they don't come back again, because like I said, we did talk to them later. So while I was in the house talking to my contractor, we noticed someone coming back. And it was the person who had been hanging out behind the garage, had I guess he called it a roll-off, or a flatbed. That's what he called it, a flatbed of stuff. And then he's pushing a stroller, and that lady right there is the neighbor coming over yelling at him because I think he stole her stroller from her yard. Now, the crazy thing about that, and this person is much better than I am, and maybe I'll have to do a poll on my YouTube channel to see about this. She takes a stroller, took it back to her house, and you will not believe what she did after that. Now, while she's doing that, this gentleman was sifting through our dumpster. That's her over there taking her stroller back, getting the stuff that my contractor had thrown in there. So he wasn't just dumpster diving. He's getting the stuff that we'd put in there, because he just left it all over the street in our yard. And you can see him right there looking through it. But the neighbor comes back and brings him a different stroller. So we thought we heard her saying, "Don't steal my stroller. If you really need one, I've got one I don't need." And so she took back the one that he stole, went back, and got a different one that she didn't want, and gave him that stroller. I can 100% say I would not have done the same thing. Maybe I'm not a nice enough person, but kudos to her, I guess, for having a heart like that. I don't particularly take kindly to people who steal from me. So anyway, what's interesting is that bag he is picking up, my contractor said it was one of the bags that was in our garage. So some of the stuff that was in our garage ended up being on his roll-off, and then he took off and some of that stuff fell off. Yes, there she is, bringing the other stroller. Absolutely crazy. So, but we're just watching this whole situation unfold, seeing what's going to happen. I mean, in this situation, you could call the cops. You could, not sure they could do anything. There's no proof. There were no cameras. There's nothing showing that he broke in. It'd kind of be word for word. Will they do anything? Not sure. And I was thinking about calling the cops, not calling the cops, just trying to see what would happen. And watching to see if he would fall too, which he didn't. But then he saw us filming and all, watching him from the window of the house, and was asking us some questions, so I went out and talked to him. And he said, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry, my stuff fell off my roll-off, I just came to grab it." And I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "Did you tag the garage?" And he's like, "What? Oh, you mean that night? No, I didn't do that. That wasn't me." Even though he has the scooter that was literally laying against there, right there, and was hanging out right there. I'm like, "Okay, did you break into the garage?" He's like, "No, the garage? No, I didn't break into there. Didn't do anything." I'm like, "Really? We found a bunch of stuff in there, and it looks like the same stuff." He's like, "Oh, no, this I definitely did not break into it. It wasn't me." So he knows now. We have him on film. He knows that we know he was in the garage, and so I'm assuming this won't happen again, but we shall see. So there's a property, and I guess he was crawling on a mattress someone left against a dumpster. That's awesome. We'll see what happens if there's any more craziness going on. And, of course, we'll have updates in the flip once it's all the way done, too, and come back for that. And we'll also see what the graffiti looks like after the city comes to remove it, assuming they do. We'll be back. Have lots more videos on our flips, rentals, laundromats, craziness coming up here soon.